Hi guys, I'm Pete from Don't Tell the Wife, and in this video I'm looking at the LCT G3 A3. Now, for those of you who don't know, LCT are renowned for their steel construction replicas and their high quality control in their factories. The buttstock, pistol grip and the foregrip are made out of high quality nylon fibre, but the rest of the gun itself is completely made out of steel. The body of the gun itself is stamped steel, the screws, the bolts, everything else, they are steel as well. Even the 140 round magazine that comes with it has got a stamped steel casing to it as well. Don't worry if you don't like the mid caps, 300 round high caps are also available from LCT. So with all this steel, the gun itself weighs about 4.5 kilos. And to give you some idea of that, that's the same as 2 standard M4s. Thankfully there are 2 sling points on the gun, one at the front and one at the back. So these are made out of steel, and thankfully they're not going to break when you're using them, because this is a heavy gun, you will need it. The buttstock itself is your battery housing. Just pull off the butt pad and it's going to reveal a mini Tamiya connection. Now there is plenty of space in there for your batteries. If you're running Lipos or NiMHs, they're both going to fit in there. Along the top you do get a peep style iron sight, and now it's got 4 adjustments here and it clicks in really nicely. It's adjustable for windage and elevation, whereas the front sight itself is completely fixed. There's no adjustments on there at all. As you might have noticed, there's no rail systems at all on this gun, but you can get an aftermarket claw clamp that's going to solve your problems if you want to run an optic on here. On the body of the gun, the only markings you're going to see are for the fire selector itself. These have been embossed into the steel and they've been painted in so you can see them quite clearly. On the other side though, even though they've got the same markings, that marking itself doesn't move like on other guns, which is a bit of a shame. But when you do move that fire selector, it is a satisfying click. It is really stiff, so you know that thing's not going to move. Going from safe to auto is not a problem, but when you want to go from auto back to semi or even safe, you may find yourself moving your grip a bit just to do it. Speaking of the grip itself, it is a really nice moulded grip. However, because of the length and the weight of this gun, that pistol grip is just too small, and because of that weight and the length as well, you do actually get the trigger guard digging into your finger a little bit after a bit of time. The mag release itself is also found just in front of the trigger guard. Now it's an AK style mag release and it does clip out and clip back in just like a real AK style. But once that's in, you get that really satisfying click, and there's no wobble and no play at all, so that's not coming out. There is, however, another way to take the magazine out, but you do need a really long index finger to actually reach that button. And personally, I would just use the other mag release instead, because it's a lot quicker to use and you've got control of the gun at the same time. The charging handle at the front of the gun is made out of steel, so for any of you who like to do the HK slap, there is very little risk of this thing breaking off when you do it. This thing itself is not going to break, and it's really satisfying to listen to. Pulling back the charging handle and that will reveal your rotary style hop unit. Now, after a little bit of playing around with this, I did actually find that it can lift a 0.3 gram BB. So for any of you that have got one of these, 0.3s for me seem to be the best for the range and your accuracy. At the end of the barrel you do get this nice birdcage style flash hider. Now this can come off to reveal a 14mm counterclockwise, so if you want to, you can put your suppressors or your tracer units on there, you know, just in case the gun isn't long enough for you. Internally you do get a standard version 2 gearbox. It's got a steel tooth piston, but there is no MOSFET on there. A lot of sites do say they can run an 11.1 LiPo, but personally I wouldn't run the risk. For the Crono I'm using 0.2 gram BBs. So the only downside I can see for this gun is the weight and the length of it. Other than that, it's great. It's accurate as anything. It fires like a laser in full auto. And I'm only using a 7.4 LiPo for this as well. Other than that, you definitely need a sling if you're going to use this all day. So to sum up, if you want a heavy, well-built rifle, this could be the one for you. FPS consistency is incredibly good with only a 1 FPS change on the Crono, and that's just ridiculous for something that's straight out of the box. It's had no internal upgrades at all. It's really incredible. LCT have done their job as always. The look and feel of this G3 is spot on, and compared to the real steel version, I don't think you're going to get anything better or closer to it. As always, if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below, and until next time, thanks for watching.